Hey everyone, hopefully you're having a good day. My name's Andy. My channel is Finding Value. Today we're going to go over our daily technical analysis update of gold and silver. We're going to go over the dollar, 10-year yield, the precious metals themselves, and then the companies and ETFs. So I'll give you my financial opinion. Please don't use it as advice. I'll step through it, give you guys what I think the markets are doing, my opinion, and we'll let the charts do the talking. So here we go. We got the dollar. Dollar's up today. Again, I still think, looking at history, if we were to take the big picture view, we're coming up and doing a retest. Is it going to stop at this retest line? Well, we're going to find out here shortly. If we zoom in here, it's right getting up on it. We may even kiss it. Maybe we go all the way up to the white line that's up here for the long-term downtrend line. Eventually, what happens is we go up, we kiss the line, and then we come back down. Are we going to go up and kiss this line and come back down? We'll find out. And does that even matter that much? Does it matter that much? And I've been asking myself that question a lot. Does it matter if the dollar continues higher in relationship to other currencies, so long that we have a lot of inflation? And I don't know if I've answered that yet, but in history, what we've seen is this dollar index go down in expansionary phases, which means the dollar is weaker in relationship to other currencies. The 10-year yield's dropping just a teeny bit. It's right at resistance. Last time we got up here, it kind of fizzled out. Are we going to break through it? Doesn't look bad to break through it, or at least try to. We have broken this long-term downtrend line to the upside. So I would suspect that the trend upward will continue until it doesn't. To me, this looks like a long-term breakout where we could really break out. Now, you could say the same thing that happened in 2017 where we broke out, and in 2018 it was starting to run. I was getting excited back there as well, but we came on back down. Something broke in this system there, and they did QE. They brought interest rates back lower, trying to do some stuff. So we'll see where this goes. We'll see where it goes. Looking at gold. Gold's down a little bit today. Let's zoom in on it. To me, it looks fine. Yeah, we have a down day, but we have this big wick at the bottom. We have wicks in the bottom of the past couple of days. Means that when it tried to sell off, buyers came in and bought it back up. So it bought back up, and then it bought up again, and we're holding on. It doesn't look bad to me. Silver's the same thing. We're right above the support line. Got a lot of wicks at the bottom, meaning buyers are coming in and buying it back up if the price falls down a little bit. I think this is just resting before a move higher. In platinum, getting a little bit of an update. This is a bullish engulfing. Usually what we say about bullish engulfings, it means that the closing price and the opening price fully engulfs the day before it, which it did. That's me trying to shade it in there if you want to know. That usually means that we've got a good chance of a reversal to happen and move on up. It doesn't mean that tomorrow will be an up day. It means that we could go up and down a little bit and then move on up. We could go directly up. It resolves itself higher. We're also above the trend line break for the downtrend in platinum. So I would suspect that this were to go higher over time. Looking at XAU to gold ratio, a little bit of a down move. It gapped lower but ended up. The momentum's going upward, but it was still a down day. Still looks good to me. I don't see any problems. Every time they try gapping it lower, I say whoever does it in the pre-market, we fight our way back up. People are buying it up. They're not selling the pre-market gap that's created. They're buying it up. And what we're seeing is some of the companies, they're getting bought up even though gold is down. To me, it looks like that someone's positioning in the mining companies while trying to push down the physical price, push the physical price down and load up in the miners. That's what I would do if I was a bank named JP Morgan or something like that. But everything looks good. Karora Resources looks good. EXK was up 1%. It's broken out of its downtrend. I like it. It's in the donations portfolio, guys. You know what I think about it. Mucho bueno. Fortuna Silver Mines is still hanging out down here, down 2.4%. It does have a green day because it opened lower and ended up, which is an upward movement. It just ended down because it gapped down so much. But that still looks good to me. I still think it looks good to nibble on. SilJ is looking, that looks good too. I don't see any days over here where we open and then we'd get driven down and then close. What they're doing is that they're opening the prices downward. They like if this is the closing price the day before, they gap it down all the way to here, and then the buyers come in and force the price back up. So someone's buying it, and even though this is the minus day is this opening price to this closing price, but people are buying it back up. They're basically buying the stock back up and pushing it higher, and that's why we have all these green candlesticks over here. So even though it's getting pre-market put down a bunch, people are buying it back up throughout the day. And we're seeing it in all of these companies, and we're above all of the breakout lines. Everything looks good, and you could almost say that this is just a consolidation pattern that's ready to break at some point. But I think it looks positive. There's no negativity here. I didn't draw anything on that one. MMNGF getting a little bit of an update. It's basically flat. It's right at resistance support. Again, this is an exploration company. I wouldn't load too much into it. Koya Silver. Again, every time it gets pushed down, see how this gets pushed down, and then buyers come in, they buy it all the way back up, and it ends here. So it got gapped down in the morning, and then people buy it back up. And we're seeing that in all these candlesticks with all these wicks at the bottom. It's like they try pushing it lower, people buy it back up. To me, this is a sign of strength, not a sign of weakness. It's just it's getting gapped pre-market to the downside. Discovery Silver, this one looks a little more bearish here. Whenever you see these big red candlesticks, there's a little bit of momentum. So we are getting a hard rejection at this line. Now, does that mean that we're just going to head lower? Not necessarily. We still have, these lows that are continuing to step up into it. So maybe we come back here, we come down, and then we head up again. So that's what you look at when you're looking at all these charts, is you're looking for those types of things. Big picture view, yeah, it's just getting sold off up in this little area here. It's trying. AG, First Majestic, let's zoom in a little bit. It's still looking all right. We got a green candlestick. It opened down, momentum was getting bought back up the day. It was still a down day. Obviously, you can throw, it's not a huge trend line here, but you can throw like a trend line in there. So we want to go off the closing price here. The closing price is about where that line is. Closing price, and a retest. Newmont, again, we've broken out of this pattern. It's just relaxing up there, probably putting in like a little pattern or something like that. Still looking okay. Mag Silver, more of a down day. It gapped down and ended a little bit lower. We're probably going to do more sideways action before moving up. Yamana Gold, it gapped down and then was bought back up throughout the day. Still looking okay. Impact Silver, another one that's got a little bit larger. This one gapped up and worked its way down. So you might see a little bit more downside momentum versus the other ones. Aftermath Silver, this guy's been just moving sideways in this channel. PLG getting a little bit more of a sell-off here. Kind of looks like almost like we're getting some sort of flag pattern that might develop. We'll see what happens. Siboney Stillwater. Yeah, we're getting a little bit of sell-off, but again, it gaps down and gets bought back up. And this is at, I would say, kind of a major, we'll call it resistance level up here. It's trying. Maybe it's going to put in a cup and handle. And then all that is a cup and handle. It's not necessarily the pattern. What's happening is we try to go up. We hit our head. We hit our head. We hit our head. Maybe it's external to the company. We come back down. We come back up. Hit our head on that resistance. And that's basically what's going on. Is we're just hitting our head. And this could be like a shoulder inverted head. Well, it's not really a bottoming pattern, but and it doesn't really matter what you call it or label it. You just got some resistance up there. Sandstorm Gold. Let's just draw a little line here, see what this is. Yeah, it's right at resistance. Stay there. We're right at resistance. That's what's going on. Hitting our head on some resistance up there. Franco Nevada. That's also at resistance. We're just right at that long-term resistance line. It's just chilling out before making a move higher. EMX. That guy also hit its head. Get a little bit of a pullback for EMX. Tootin Resources, that's been just trucking sideways here. Not really doing too much. Wheaton Precious Metals, down day, but the buyers came in and bought it back up. It looks like we're trying to break through this little sticky area right through here. We're trying to break through it. We'll get through it. Give it time. Gold Royalty, getting a little bit more selling pressure today. It's not doing too hot. Not doing too hot. Metallo Royalty getting sold off. Oh, this is probably just doing a retest. We'll probably make our way back here and then eventually higher at some point. MMX, this one's also doing the retest thing. It's going to come on back, probably retest it. Royal Gold moving on up, looking okay. It's still inside this big massive pattern channel, I should say. And then a Cisco Gold Royalty, we're still trucking ahead on its big old break out of its pattern. And yeah, it was down day, but the momentum's coming back up. I still think it looks fine. So that's what I've got for today, guys, for the gold and silver area. I still like it. There's nothing bad here. And again, guys, I'll just say this, even if we pull back greater, I will still like this sector. Why? Because we are in favorable market conditions for precious metals. And if they raise rates, it's just inevitable. It's going to go higher. Money's going to flow into it from stocks and bonds. So my viewpoint, irrespective if I'm right or wrong in the short term, I think we're going higher, medium, long term. That's my viewpoint. If we have an energy crisis and you've got physical precious metals, you're going to win. You're going to have inflation. It's the cost curves are going to go up for these metals if energy goes way up. I think it's a very good sector to have exposure to as an investor. Precious metals in general. Physical precious metals for sure. A way to diversify out of the dollar, a way to diversify inflation, deflation, whatever's coming at us. I think inflation, and then the companies still look good too. They're all like post breakout. So they've had these breakouts, they've broken their patterns. Now we're just moving higher, getting some volatility. That's the way it works. And markets don't go straight up. I think most people know that. They cycle. Impulse move, pull back. Impulse move, pull back, impulse move, and then a larger consolidation. Usually that's kind of how it works. If you guys like this analysis, give me a thumbs up. Subscribe to the channel if you haven't already. And thank you for listening. This is Finding Value.